In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to master real estate scripts fast. My name is Mida. I've been a real estate agent for over 10 years and I've coached hundreds of agents. I ran a top team. I actually retired from selling homes because I became financially independent. So let's dive into this material right now. Whether you're working as a listing agent or a buyer's agent, mastering scripts is going to be crucial to your real estate success. I remember early on in my real estate career, I remember hearing that practicing your scripts on your clients is malpractice. Just like a doctor practicing on their patients is malpractice, right? Now, I know doctors say, oh, hey, it's my practice. Well, okay, I'd rather go to somebody that has mastered their craft, right? So that's what you want to do when it comes to scripts, is you want to master it. Practicing your scripts on your prospects is going to be very costly. So using all the strategies and tips and tactics that I'm going to cover in this video, potentially going to save you thousands of dollars in commissions. The first thing I want to address is this concept of scripts. A lot of agents are hesitant when it comes to using scripts. They're like, it doesn't feel natural, or I don't want to use a script, I don't like scripts, or what they're really saying is they think their script, because everyone has a script, is better. The thing is, the script that you're using is something that you made up in your head and you just started saying it over and over, and it's not actually proven to work. You see, the scripts that I share are actually proven to work. I've tested them in my business for years and years, and I collected the best of what the real estate industry had to offer, put it to the test, and developed my own strategies, my own scripts. I'm going to prove to you right now that everyone has a script. If someone asks you, how are you doing? How are you doing today? How do you typically respond? You probably 90% of the time respond with the same answer. Maybe it's good, maybe it's great, maybe it's never better. A better response is responding with good or great and then giving a reason why. Most people don't do this, so it'll actually make you stand out. And as a real estate agent, everybody's a potential client, so you want to make that best first impression. So maybe you just had a closing that morning. You could say, great, I actually just had a closing this morning. My clients were thrilled. It's a great day. And they're just gonna be like, oh wow, congratulations, that's awesome. Another going through the motions type response. And when you say something that's exciting enthusiastically, it kind of shakes them up and it makes them more attracted to you because your level of energy is now higher and your positivity is really coming through, and people are naturally attracted to that. Now, this is one that you really need to work on because you probably get asked it all the time, whether it's at a holiday party, birthday parties, in line at Starbucks. When people find out you're a real estate agent, they say, how's the market? The typical agent's just going to rattle off, oh, the market's great, it's still a seller's market, or rates are super high right now, so the buyers are kind of not buying as much, but because of that, prices are coming down a little bit because sellers got to accommodate the buyers having to pay higher rates, or whatever you ramble off. It's all nonsense. You want to develop a script or learn a script to help pique their interest and qualify them as prospects. So a better response would be when they ask, how's the market? Well, that depends. Are you a buyer or a seller? Now you're narrowing in, is this somebody that's actually looking to make a move in the next year or so? Because they'll probably say, well, neither, I'm just curious. Or they might say, well, actually, we're looking to sell our house this summer. Hopefully that made sense and you're seeing why scripts are so important. So let's start talking about why you want to really master the script and why that's different than memorizing. Memorizing a script is just knowing the words, like having them memorized. I don't know about you guys, but in school, I was taught to memorize a lot of stuff, but it really didn't help me in my life, right? It's how you use the information that you learn that really benefits you. So to drive that home to learning scripts, think if you were an actor and if you learned all the scripts, all the lines, but you couldn't deliver them as a performance, as an actor with enthusiasm and tonality, how great of an actor would you be? You probably wouldn't get the part. It's the same thing with real estate agents. So sure, you want to do your best to memorize it, but what's most important is going to be your tonality, your enthusiasm, your energy that comes through the phone or with that prospect. And there is room to ad lib. I like to think of these scripts as kind of like the structure of the conversation. So you have this outline and it has flexibility within that outline to add your personality, but it's based on foundational principles that are proven to move the prospect either along, moving them farther along in the buying and selling process, or just getting the appointment. When you master the script, you're actually able to listen to the prospect and handle the objections or just have a really natural conversation with them. If you are approaching the scripts like a robot and you're constantly worried about what do I say next, your active listening skills are going to be horrible and the prospect's going to see that. And that is when you're going to come across robotic, and that is when you're going to be like, scripts don't work for me. And it's simply because you didn't put in the effort when it comes to practicing and mastering the scripts. There's really only 3 steps when it comes to mastering scripts, but before I get into it, like and subscribe to the channel if you're getting value. The first step is going to be reading them out loud with enthusiasm. Go through the motions like you're actually in the game. Don't go through the motions just to go through the motions. Read them with passion, enthusiasm. Go even over the top, because that's going to send and cement signals in your body that you're ready to go, that you're really taking this serious, and it alerts your body and your mind to take note, like, hey, this is something that we're really going to learn and master, versus just going through the motions, like, oh, I hate to be reading these scripts, they're not gonna work. If you were to sell that home, where would you go next? When you're on the phone with a prospect, you don't wanna sound too over the top, but when you're practicing, it's good. Number 2 is going to be to write them out. Just write them out. That's going to help you internalize the words. I like to think of like when I used to play basketball. When I played basketball, I practiced the play so many times, my body instinctively knew what to do in so many different scenarios. Even if I was in a scenario that I've never been in before, my body was able to react from all that repetition of the plays and the practice that I had on the court before the game. I think of scripts the same way. When you practice the scripts and you write them out, you read them out loud, you read them out loud, when that seller or that buyer gives you an objection that you never heard before, and there's really just 6 or so main objections, so you kind of hear the same ones over and over, but maybe you get a new one. You're able to react to it so fast, like LeBron James playing ball, that you handle it so well, not even phased, and you're like, wow. Sometimes I would surprise myself, like, that sounded really good, and then I get the appointment. That's what happens when you really commit to mastering the scripts. Then number 3 is going to be role-playing with other agents. This is essential to your success when it comes to mastering scripts. Get 3 to 5 role-play partners and spend 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes before your prospecting session to kind of get warmed up for the game, right? And here's a tip for working with role-play partners. Just know that you're going to go through a lot of them before you find the good ones. And always try to find people that are selling more houses than you, because you'll learn at a faster pace. And when you actually get on the phone with them, the way you want to handle it is either they go first or you go first. So you got a seller and then you got the prospect. Give each other feedback. So what did you do good? What can you work on? Like, how is your rate of speech? How is your enthusiasm? Would be some criteria that you're judging them on. Eventually, let them get the appointment. So give them 3 or so objections and then let them get the appointment. You never want to be so tough they don't get the appointment, because we want to affirm the right behavior, which is going through the scripts. Now, where should you start? What script should you learn first? Because there's a lot of scripts to learn. There's a lot of different scenarios. I coach agents to be listing agents. Sure, if you want to be a buyer agent too, that's great. But listing agents typically make more money per hour. They have the leverage, much better quality of life. So that's where I would start. Start with the prospecting scripts, because you really don't need to know the listing presentation if you don't have an appointment, right? So start with the prospecting scripts: for sale by owners, expired listings, just listed, just solds. Practice the objection handlers, then practice the listing presentation. And what's cool is when you're prospecting over the phone, they don't even see you, so you can actually read it verbatim. That's why you got to master the script. You got to master the tonality, the enthusiasm, because when you're not in person, you can actually read it verbatim off of the script if you want. The other cool thing is during the listing presentation, I would actually take my presentation, have it printed out like the script, and at the top I'd have prepared for Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And then it was essentially my list of questions in my listing presentation that I needed to cover, and I would use that as an outline and take notes. So real big, they just see their name, prepared for their name. They're like, wow, this person's really professional. They're treating it like a professional, right? Like a doctor comes with a clipboard or a computer and they're taking notes. You do the same thing during a presentation, and it's your listing presentation notes. So it's really awesome. That's a hack that I want you to use. There's no doubt in my mind that if you use these strategies and you master your scripts, that you'll quickly become a top agent in your market. Just treat it like a professional. Imagine these professional athletes. They practice countless hours a week, who knows, 8-10 hours a day. They're either studying film, right for the game, or they're working on their body, they're working out, they're practicing the plays, they're in the ice cold tub. They're doing all these things to get ready for Sunday, to get ready for the game, to make, I think the average salary in the NFL is like $600,000. I know a lot of agents making more money than that. But yet agents don't want to spend a little time practicing their script, mastering it to get ready for their game, which is that listing presentation, that buyer presentation. It's just crazy to me. So if you want to make an above average income in real estate, because the average is only $42,000, if your goal is to make a couple $100,000 a year, like I made selling real estate, then you're going to want to implement this in your business.